Did you know that the Bitcoin balance in your wallet is not just a simple number? It's actually more detailed like that. You can imagine, for example, a wallet in your pocket, and it has a certain number of coins. Let's say you have, for example, $9 in single dollar coins. And the same way the Bitcoin network also works. So instead of displaying just a single balance like this, it could also look more like this. So in this case, it's 4 coins. They're called UTXO, the unspent transaction outputs. And each coin or UTXO has a certain value. And all these coins together make up the balance. Okay? So a Bitcoin transaction works actually by spending individual coins in one single transaction. So you get the input, which is the coins you're spending, and the output, the coins that are arriving in individual addresses. So in this example, you would spend 4 individual coins in a single transaction, and you send 0.2 Bitcoin to this address, which creates a brand new coin, and you also get change back in this case, because there's leftover. And it's also a brand new coin. So it's kind of like a transaction melts all these coins together, and out come 2 new coins in this case. Okay. So this has why can't I say this? So this has implications when you make a transaction, because everything is public. You can also do follow-ups on these coins. So this coin, you could just see, okay, when is it being spent and how is it being spent? So it could basically like become an input again for a new transaction. And every coin it's being spent with, you can reasonably assume that they belong to the same owner. And there are people who make use out of this. So for example, you see this tiny little coin down here. Doesn't have much value, but it's there. And you accidentally used it in a transaction. It might be that the wallet you're using just has an algorithm that uses this coin like this. And whoever sent you this coin now knows that you also own these coins, and possibly after the transaction, this coin. Okay? So somebody could spy on your behavior, and now they can follow up, okay, where does this coin go, and make assumptions about your spending habits. So in reality, it does not just look like this, but we also have to know where coins come from. And it could look like this, for example. So we have Bob, he sent you these 2 coins, and Alice sent you this coin. And then this tiny little coin might have come from Chainalysis, for example. Nobody knows, but it just ended up in your wallet and you accidentally spend it. That's what they're possibly trying to achieve. So this is where coin control and UTXO management comes into place, because you can use these techniques to increase your privacy when you're transacting on chain. And the number one way of doing it is by labeling your coins to know where they come from or where they go. So can look like this. Each coin has a label. You know that you got this from Bob and this coin from Alice, and this one you just don't know. But it's already enough information for you to know how to create your transactions. So in this case, for example, you could just make this kind of transaction by leaving out this tiny little coin. You just spend Alice's and Bob's coins, and it almost looks the same in this case, but has increased privacy because you're not revealing to that tiny coin what you do with your others. It's very important. Now, if you want to go a step further, you could, for example, decide, oh no, I don't want to mix Alice's and Bob's coins. Bob doesn't need to know that I also own Alice's coin, and Alice doesn't need to know that I also own Bob's coins. So you could try to remove Alice's coins from the input and just spend Bob's coins. However, this does not always work. In this case, you have to spend 0.2 Bitcoin and it's just not enough. You have 0.015, a bit more. So maybe you adjust the balance on this one, and you send less. Would be more private, but does not always work. So maybe in this case, we just keep Alice's coins in the mix as well. And that's the theory of coin control UTXO management. Let's check how we would do that in Peach Wallet. And let's see how we can do coin control here. So we have a certain amount of Bitcoin in that wallet, but as we just previously discussed, the balance actually can be more expressed as UTXOs. So you can find these UTXOs under Send in the upper right corner under this icon, and here they are. So this is my Bitcoin balance expressed as individual coins, and each coin can have a label. So some labels already exist. So for example, here the first one comes from my trade P9D. Also got a coin here from Alice, and some other coins I have not labeled yet. So before we are attempting to spend them, let's first check how we can label them. And there are multiple ways to do that. The number one way would be under Receive Bitcoin. You can go into past addresses and also future addresses. So if you, for example, you know, okay, my friend Bob is going to send me this amount of Bitcoin to that address, you can already label this one as Bob and give Bob this address. So once it arrives on this address, you already know, okay, Bob sent me these coins. But you can also go back into past addresses. If you know where they came from, you can also label them directly here. Another way to label is by going to the transaction history. So under received, usually, for example, here, you see again the label. In this case, by default, the address is being displayed. And we can also change it here. So if we know, okay, Bob sent me these Bitcoins, this 1 million Satoshis, can give it a label accordingly. And now I know, okay, Bob knows about these coins. These coins came from Bob. And I can do this with all the coins that I receive in my Peach wallet. So when I now go to send, I can select these coins again. So you see, here's Bob that we just labeled. The one that we are still yet to receive from Bob is not here because he didn't make the transaction. And yeah, so pretty much this information we can now use to make a transaction. Let's say we have to send 500,000 sats to trade. So if you want to sell, for example, you can go here and we want to sell 500,000 sats. Just a little tip on the side, try to use not round numbers, it's a bit more private because it's harder to make assumptions about odd numbers. Okay, so we are going to create this sell offer for 500,000 sats, and instead of just funding from Peach Wallet, if you click on this one and make a transaction, the wallet decides which UTXOs to use. Maybe you don't want that. You're an advanced user now, you decide for your own coins. So you can copy the address, you go back to wallet, send, and you paste in the address and the amount of sats you want to send. Doesn't need to be the exact number. The Peach trading platform will adapt or ask you if that was the correct amount. Okay, so we set up the transaction, but now we want to select the coins as well. And we have some options. Okay, we know we want to send a bit more than 500,000 sats. We have these coins for selection. This possibly is not enough from Alice. So if we want to use it, we would need to mix it with another coin. We know this came from a trade. So the assumption is, okay, we know that whoever sold us these coins and Peach both know, okay, this is a coin that you got. They might not know who you are, but they know where it can go if you spend this. So if you choose to spend this coin, be aware that the seller and Peach could technically follow up where you're going to send it. In this case, it probably makes more sense because you're going to sell it on Peach again. So one of the parties already who know about this coin will know anyway about where you're going to spend it. In this case, it would be Peach. And the other case, Bob, for example, if you would choose Bob's coin, then Bob would know, okay, these coins go to an escrow address and some goes back, but Bob could follow up basically. In this case, I think the most private way to spend the coins would be to choose that one. So I select it, and down here you can see as for confirmation sending from selected coins. It's coming from this address with this label. Looks good. I'm going to send the transaction. And it's being sent up here. Alright, and this is how you select your coins when you're making transactions and how you label them in Peach.